Hello and welcome to Monday's Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
The couple struggling to fill the fridge, now back in a campaign calling for an end to people dying in poverty.
We can't control the cancer, but we should be able to control our financial situation, and we can't.
The river expert urging United Utilities to come clean about how much sewage is being dumped in our rivers.
One day left to save Ron's place. Artist Ron Gittins turned his rented house into a secret world, but it's due to be sold at auction on Wednesday.
Manchester United raise a trophy again.
Is Erik ten Hag the man to turn the Reds around? We've got all the reaction to United's first trophy win in 6 years.
Gold for GB. Cheshire's Mia Brooks becomes the youngest snowboarding world champion of all time.
And in the weather, it's a colourful forecast tonight. I have lots of your Aurora Borealis photos to share with you. That and the full forecast coming up.
Well, first tonight, give us back some dignity. The words of a grandmother from Warrington with terminal cancer, who's backing a campaign urging the government to change its rules on pensions.
Yes, Cheryl Whittaker and her husband have been struggling to make ends meet ever since she was diagnosed with cancer. They say they've been forced to borrow from their children to pay the bills because they can't claim their state pension.
They are supporting Marie Curie's Nobody Should Die in Poverty campaign and have delivered a petition to Downing Street. Jennifer Buck has this report.
When I was diagnosed, the oncologist said, look, Cheryl, there's nothing we can do. We can't operate on you. There's nothing we can do for that, the type of cancer you've got. So just go out, make memories. But you can't.
The fridge is full of essential cancer medication and not much else. The medicine helps keep Cheryl alive, but they are struggling to fill the fridge with food and now say they eat only 2 meals a day. Mark is his wife's full-time carer. They've been married more than 40 years and enjoyed prosperous careers, but after downsizing their home, still can't make ends meet.
Buying fresh produce, you know, is 20-30% than what it was. So I used to go and do a bulk shop, you know. Now I'm just like a scavenger hunt, you know, going in there and getting the cheapest stuff possible, you know. The electric and gas, it's astronomical. You know, we have not had the heating on. I put the heating on this morning just so that you'd be comfortable when you arrived. That's the first time I've had it on in 2-3 months.
How much of a difference would it make for you if you could access your state pensions?
It would be life-changing. We can't control the cancer, but we should be able to control our financial situation, and we can't, you know, especially after what we paid in. It's just an absolute disgrace.
The Warrington couple joined ex-footballer Chris Kamara and the charity Marie Curie to deliver a petition to Downing Street, calling for a change in the law.
We very much hope that in the budget next month, the Chancellor will make that commitment to extend that provision. But if that doesn't happen, then Marie Curie will keep fighting for this because it's something that really, really matters. It would lift thousands of people living with terminal illness out of poverty.
Cheryl and Mark want the changes to benefit other families like them.
Sometimes I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to be here before it gets changed. So hopefully it is going to change for other people. You know, I'm just glad I wake up on a morning, to be honest. I'm just glad I wake up to this one. Each morning's a bonus.
Jennifer Buck, ITV News in Warrington.
Well, in response, the Department for Work and Pension spokesperson said that those nearing the end of their lives can get fast-track access to a range of benefits without needing a face-to-face assessment or waiting period, with the majority receiving the highest rate of those benefits.
Yeah, they went on to say that last year they extended support to thousands more people nearing end of life.
Well, next tonight, the jury in the trial of nurse Lucy Letby has heard that she attempted to murder an extremely premature baby girl within 2 hours of her being born.
It's alleged the neonatal nurse interfered with the baby girl's oxygen tube. Let's cross to our correspondent Mel Barham, who's been in court for us today. Mel.
Yes, Gamal. Well, the evidence began, as you say, into the case of baby Kay, who we can't name for legal reasons. She was a baby girl who was born in February 2016 at the Countess of Chester Hospital, extremely prematurely at just 25 weeks. Now, the prosecution alleged that Lucy Letby attempted to murder her just hours after she was born by interfering with her breathing tube. The Crown say that Lucy Letby struck when baby Kay's designated nurse had left the room, and she deliberately tampered with that breathing tube just moments before a consultant walked in. The jury heard that baby Kay suffered a sudden deterioration as her blood oxygen levels fell. Her tube had to be removed, and then she recovered quite quickly after that. Well, the defence say that actually the probable cause for the dislodgement of that tube was actually that the child inadvertently moved it herself, and that this is another example of suboptimal care, because really baby Kay should have been treated at a much more specialist hospital given her prematurity. Well, baby Kay was transferred later that day to Arrow Park Hospital, where she died 3 days later. But the jury was told that they are not alleging what Lucy Letby did actually ultimately caused her death.
And Mel, the court heard how Lucy Letby had searched for the baby's mother on social media a number of years later.
That's right, Zoe. We heard from a police analyst who said that they found that Letby had done a Facebook search for the parent's surname in April 2018. Now, that was 2 years after the baby was born and 3 months before Letby was arrested. Well, Letby denies murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 10 others. Tomorrow, the trial will hear more evidence about baby Kay.
All right, Mel, thank you.
Well, next tonight, there are calls for United Utilities to come clean over how much sewage ends up in our rivers.
Yes, they've announced a multi-million-pound investment to upgrade wastewater treatment across the region.
But a leading river expert says they're not being transparent about how serious the problem is. Our correspondent, Rob Smith, has more.
Fishing out a catch no one wants. Wet wipes, this river scientist says, came through a nearby sewage works. Professor Jamie Woodward worries about wildlife on the River Mersey in Greater Manchester. Water company United Utilities plan to reduce sewer spills during heavy rainfall by 10 million tonnes by 2025. An outfall here was releasing treated effluent on a dry day today, but the professor says he wants transparency about how much raw sewage ends up in rivers and more done to stop it.
I would ask United Utilities to invest more money in their wastewater infrastructure. At the present time, and for many years, they've discharged sewage and untreated wastewater on an industrial scale. There's a whole suite of pollutants associated with untreated wastewater and sewage that we don't want in our rivers, and we need to minimise the discharges that take place.
A few miles away in Stockport, angler Phil Clayton was trying to catch fish. He welcomes the Mersey's transformation from a dead river when he was a boy to one now teeming with life. But what he sees left behind during storms when sewers can discharge is far from welcome.
You can walk down here and you'll see it all. There's actually some behind us there, and it's all sanitary products and things like that that are issuing from the sewage works. It is most unpleasant. You would not want to be fishing here in a full discharge.
What ends up in our rivers comes from a combined sewage and rainwater treatment system, often dating back to Victorian times. But one river conservation group says amid climate change and population growth, it may be time to rebuild.
Split sewage and rainwater into 2 different networks. One goes directly to the river, everybody's happy, it doesn't damage wildlife or the environment, and then we get what we pay for, which is we pay for our waste to be treated by the utility company, and they can do so without being compromised by vast amounts of rainfall.
In a statement, United Utilities told us,
"We care passionately about the customers, communities and environment we serve. We are already investing £230 million to reduce the frequency of storm overflow operations by a third by 2025. We know that there is more to be done though, with the largest combined sewer network in the country and 28% more rainfall in our region than the UK average. Our investment plans from 2025 onwards will see one of the biggest environmental improvement programmes in the country.
Improvements some want to go further and faster. Rob Smith, ITV News.
Nearly £34,000 has now been donated to an online fundraiser for the family of Nicola Bully from Lancashire. Nicola's body was found in the River Wyre in St Michael's 3 weeks after she went missing. The money will help pay her family's funeral costs and support her 2 daughters. Lots still to come on the programme. Coming up.
Really good at this. You're beating grown-ups.
We met her at 12. 4 years later, she's a world champion. Mia Brooks has bagged a snowboarding gold for GB.
And in the weather, last night's Northern Lights show was so spectacular. The weather seems, well, quite pedestrian, really. What are the chances of seeing the Aurora Borealis again tonight? Well, I have all the details on that, plus the full forecast, so do stay tuned.
Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, well done, Emma. I couldn't pronounce that.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Here's what's still to come on the ITV News at 6:30 with Mary.
Coming up on the programme, a breakthrough Brexit agreement as Rishi Sunak seals a deal with the EU over Northern Ireland. The PM concluded months of negotiations at a meeting with his EU counterpart earlier. But will it be enough to convince the doubters in Northern Ireland and on his own backbenches? Also ahead on the programme. Ministers hold crisis talks with supermarket bosses over salad shortages on shelves. Uproar in the art world over the computers that can paint masterpieces in minutes, and tributes to the trailblazing Betty Boothroyd as the first female Speaker of the Commons dies at the age of 93. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Next tonight, to the treasure trove of weird and wonderful artwork and sculptures in Wirral. No, we're not talking about a museum, but rather a flat in Birkenhead.
Yes, Ron Gittins had a distinctive taste when it came to home interiors. And when he died in 2019, a campaign was started to preserve his home.
But now there's only one day left to save it, as Ron's place is up for sale tomorrow. Jamal Williams-Thomas can tell us more.
Now, this flat is certainly one of a kind. Just look around. Artist Ron Gittins spent 33 years of his life doing this place up. And actually, although he was a tenant, he had a clause in his contract saying that he could change this place anything he wanted to his taste. Have a look at this. What taste this man had. I'm joined here by Martin, trustee, who is actually next to this Lion's Head, pure concrete fireplace. And if you look, actually, Ron used to make his dinner here as well, didn't he? Now, Martin, this place is up for auction at the minute. Tell us a bit about that.
It goes up for auction tomorrow. There's a guide price of about £325,000. It closes on Wednesday. So really what we're looking for ideally is someone who can help us buy the place. We've got a crowdfunder going, but it's not going to reach that kind of money. But that's what we're looking for.
Now, you're a filmmaker. What drew you to this place and how have you got involved?
I've seen these kind of places all over the world in the television programmes that I've made, and this place is something special. There's never been anything like this in the UK, and it matches favourably with places all over the world which have gone on to become sort of hubs of creativity in their community. So when I saw it, I knew I had to do something to help.
Brilliant, thank you, Martin. Now, this place, every single wall is covered, every single room is filled with art. It's just absolutely incredible. In fact, there's another fireplace just through this way. It's a Minotaur. Have a look at this. Again, made of concrete entirely by Ron himself, believe it or not. And I'm actually here now with Ron's niece, Jan. So, see one of his creations here. Now, tell us a bit about Ron. Ron was a very interesting character, wasn't he? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, a bit unusual. He could be described as a colourful character, bit of a well-known person in the neighbourhood, going out with, he always wore wellies, 2 wigs, 2 hats. Sometimes he'd go down the Asda dressed as a centurion. And he was often seen on the streets of Birkenhead, pushing this pram full of sand and cement for his sculptures.
Now, if you guys get to keep this place, or if a buyer is found who you can work with, what would you like to happen to the place?
We want to open it up to the people as a creative community centre to inspire people to just get creative themselves and find joy in just making stuff and opening their imagination. So yeah, we need someone to come in and help us save this place, and then we can get funding and we can make it work, but time is critical now. We can't lose it.
Well, now, I mean, you know, what would Ron make of this? The fact this place has gone up for us, and you're trying to save it, what would Ron make of it quickly?
He'd been made up. He was a bit of an attention seeker, and when he was alive he said, I will not be ignored, and even now he's given us grief having to work so hard to try and save this place, but we've got to. It's too good to lose.
Brilliant, thank you, Jan. Now let's go back to this Minotaur. I mean, again, every single nook and cranny of this place is filled with art, and we're hoping if we can save this place, it will inspire the artists of the future as well.
Yeah, talk about a home with personality. There's surely got to be someone out there who's prepared to and willing to save that house.
What about you?
Yeah, I'd be all for it, but sadly I wouldn't be able to afford it. But it's a winner. It's an absolute keeper. Can you imagine Mike Hall in there, actually?
Yeah, I can imagine Mike Hall in there. Speaking of which...
My place looks nothing like that, so just have make that clear.
2 major sporting success stories to celebrate this weekend, Mike.
Yeah, that's right, Zoe. We will reflect on Manchester United's Wembley win in the League Cup final in just a moment. But first to a piece of sporting history that unfolded a little earlier today when Cheshire's Mia Brooks became the youngest snowboarding world champion of all time. Mia, who's 16, won gold in the snowboard slopestyle event at the Snowboard, Freestyle and Free Ski World Championships in Georgia. She produced a stunning run in the final, beating Olympic champion Zoe Sadowski-Synnott to become Britain's first ever world champion in this event. I spoke to Mia just a short time ago to get her reaction to her astonishing victory.
Definitely cannot believe it. Like, I honestly, the amount of times I've almost cried and have cried is uncountable.
You won gold after producing something that has never been seen before in women's competition. Tell us what it was that you did.
Yeah, so I just did a cab 1440, which, yeah, it's never been done by a woman before, like on snow or in competition. And yeah, that's 4 full rotations, and yeah, I cannot believe I did it. I've tried it once before and I'm super stoked that it was in the comp that I landed it.
And we can see your reaction when you realise what it is that you've just achieved. Explain what is going through your mind in that moment and in the minutes that follow when you realise you're in first place.
Yeah, I definitely, like, as soon as I landed that trick, I didn't really know it was a 14, but I knew that I was spinning fast enough for it to be a 14. And yeah, when I got to the bottom, I was just mind blown.
And Mia, you're the youngest snowboarding world champion ever, Britain's first world champion in this event. What does that mean to you?
Definitely means a lot. I don't think I ever would have imagined that a few weeks ago. But yeah, to say that I'm the youngest world champion and the first woman to do a cab 14 is like a lot of things to take on board, but I'm super happy about it.
Now, Mia, we first met you on Granada Reports 4 years ago when you were 12 years old, and I came along and filmed with you for the day at Sandbach High School and then on the slopes at the Chill Factory in Manchester. Back then, you were beating adults in competition. Here's a little reminder of what you said.
It's just amazing that I actually thought, well, I'm beating these older people who are stronger than me, a lot more talented than me. It was just felt so good that I was actually beating grown-ups.
I can see your reaction as you're watching, though. What's going through your mind? You've changed a bit.
That is... oh, God. Yeah, definitely. Back then, I would have never imagined that I was going to be world champion. Yeah, I still can't believe it now, so it's pretty insane.
But you were beating grown-ups as a 12-year-old. You were in the top 50 seniors in the world at that point. This was obviously always the dream.
Yeah, I mean, the World Champs is basically like the step down from the Olympics, so it's pretty insane to say that I'm world champion. But yeah, like, I can't believe that, I was literally like 12 years old and saying I was being adult, and now I'm world champion.
Well, Mia, you have produced a piece of sporting history from everyone watching back home and everyone here on Granada Reports. Many, many congratulations, and thank you so much for talking to us tonight.
Thank you.
What a story, what an achievement. Well, let's continue the celebratory theme, shall we, and reflect on Manchester United's first piece of silverware in 6 years. They lifted the Carabao Cup at Wembley after beating Newcastle 2-0 in the final. What a moment for Erik ten Hag in his first season as manager. David Chisnall reports.
Could it be the birth of a new dynasty at Old Trafford?
It's a first trophy for Manchester United under Erik ten Hag, who's brought success back to the club. The League Cup may be the least desired of the major titles, but after 6 years without silverware...
This is one. We worked really hard for it, and it has to be an inspiration because there has to come more. The fans are so behind us, and it gives us such a good feeling. And I'm so happy for them that we can bring them a trophy.
To win the first trophy here in Manchester United, for me, it means a lot. But also for the team, you know. In the beginning, you know, it was not easy for us, but then we win our first title, and then we have to go for more.
Great feeling, great to bring the silverware back to Manchester, to us. It's quite a long time ago, too long I think for this big club. So yeah, really nice.
Shaw who bends it in. It's inviting. It's a brilliant header.
A man of the match performance from Brazilian Casemiro.
Pushed into Marcus Rashford. The angle against him, but he scored again.
And a deflected shot from Marcus Rashford.
Manchester United are winners again.
Made it a miserable day for Newcastle and their famous supporters Ant and Dec, who were watching on in the stand. With Wembley's famous arch turned red, Reds fans headed home happy.
We've remembered the good times, and we've been through the bad times.
Come on, Reds!
No, we're on the march to the good times.
I think Ten Hag's got them playing really well. They've got like a bit more kind of spirit and gumption. They're not quite as indifferent as they've been in the past.
We're on the up again, definitely. It's going the right way.
Now, you know, there's this spirit, and you can see it running through the club and with the fans as well, that we're getting somewhere, and it's fantastic what he's done in a short space of time.
Litja and Anthony in Amsterdam, we did some dancing, and I hope we can do it even more in the future.
Despite almost leaving the cup in the press room, this trophy feels significant for United, who still have the potential to do the quadruple this season. That's a long way off yet, but momentum and belief is building. David Chisnall, ITV News.
Yeah, well done to Manchester United. Great weekend for their fans. Not such a great weekend for somebody sat just to my right here. Zoe, what went wrong?
I thought we said the less said about this, the better.
Well, yeah,
please.
You are a Newcastle fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you must be gutted.
Very, very, very disappointed. And I tell you what, it's not great watching these matches when you live in the Northwest, is it?
I can imagine, Yeah. But, you know, for Manchester United, this could be a phenomenal season. As David said there, still in the Premier League title race, still in the Europa League, still in the FA Cup. But even if they just win the one trophy this season, that is progress, isn't it?
Yeah, great. Well done, man.
Yeah. Michael laying it thick for Newcastle
Yeah,
fans.
lovely. Moving on.
Next, a new British romantic comedy starring A-listers Lily James and Dame Emma Thompson also features the film debut of a pupil from Fleetwood.
Yes, Shannon Shantakumar is part of the cast of What's Love Got to Do With It, and at just 13 years old has a very bright career ahead of her.
Paul Crone reports.
This afternoon it was German, then physics lessons at Russell School for Shannon Shantakumar. All a far cry from her life as an actor and her film debut playing the part of Raja and dancing alongside national treasure Emma Thompson in What's Love Got to Do With It, which has just been released.
Emma's so nice. She's very loud, very nice. She's very helpful, and she made me not nervous.
And keeping her feet firmly on the ground as a promising film career beckons are her schoolmates.
She comes across quite shy, but once you get to know her, she's the opposite. She's very confident.
I think my favourite part was when she was dancing with Emma Thompson. It just looked like she was having so much fun and getting into the role.
Obviously, this is such a big thing for Shannon, and we're all so proud of her. Like, she's done so well.
She's never made a big deal about it. She's always quietly happy about it. But yeah, that makes her a really good friend. The film set, like the way they've displayed it is amazing. It's like brand new how they can make something really small into something really big. It's amazing, and everybody there's super nice.
Mum Anne and Dad Francis are rightly proud of Shannon, who was spotted by a screen management agency at just 6 years old. Staff at Russell are pretty impressed too.
Oh, she's so good. So she's, the thing about Shannon, she's, you look at how you'd pass her by, she's quiet, she's unassuming, but she's absolute superstar.
Right, Shannon, you ready for your acting class?
Yeah.
Show me anger.
I can't believe you do that. I'm not happy with you.
Overwhelmed?
Oh my goodness, I can't believe I got it. I'm shocked.
And acceptance speech.
I am so happy. My family and friends are always here for me, and all of them, I'm so shocked. I'm so happy. It's amazing.
Here is your award.
Thank you.
Brilliant. But more movies can wait, and a catch-up with mates is just as important in the meantime. Paul Crone, ITV News, Fleetwood.
What a star.
Yeah. Here's Emma with the weather.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, hope you've had a superb Monday. Not a lot going on in the weather still, but who needs that when we have these superb pictures to enjoy from last night's Aurora Borealis. Yes, there's still so much going on over our heads, and we do stand the chance of seeing it again tonight. A lot of you captured some absolutely extraordinary photos and some out-of-this-world colours. They really are beautiful, and a lot of us missed it as well. And for those of us that missed it, like myself, it is wonderful to see these pictures and to really manage to share in all of that. So what are the chances of seeing it again tonight? Well, I have a special movie for you. I have nicknamed it my watermelon movie, as you'll see why any second. So now then, the shaded area represents where the aurora is going to be directly overhead overnight tonight. So I think there's more chance of seeing it before midnight. Just because our area is unshaded doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to see it. It just means you might see it from a lower angle. But there is going to be a lot more cloud around tonight. Also, the effect of the borealis could actually impact satellite and communications too. So be aware of that. You can see that overnight tonight, 1 or 2 showers do just trickle across the Pennines, but largely it's going to be dry. Might just be a bit damper over the highest ground there. But elsewhere, some clearer slots. In those clearer slots, then, of course, you do stand a chance of seeing the northern lights, but also there could be an odd pocket of frost. Into tomorrow, the main difference between tomorrow and today is that tomorrow is going to be breezier than today, so it's going to feel chillier. Again, you do just have an odd shower dampening the ground over the tops of the Pennines, but largely dry once again. So feeling chillier tomorrow. Fleeting chance of sunshine on Wednesday, a bit better Thursday. Best day, though, is Friday. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
What about the watermelon move?
No idea. But I tell you who can tell you more about that. Emma, on our website, itv.com/Granada.
That is it. We are back tomorrow. Many thanks indeed for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.